Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany, Reiki Master and Certified Meditation Teacher. Welcome to my inner temple. Thank you very much for connecting with me. I am very excited to share with you some of the first few steps that I took to help heal myself from my past trauma, my inhibiting fears, and the overwhelming emotional pain that I was feeling for years. You may learn more about my story under my About page on my website. The general picture was I was someone that struggled with depression, anxiety, and panic attack for years. And I have experienced anything from poverty to physical abuse, abusive relationships, bullying in school, very low self-esteem, poor boundaries, and even a sexual assault. So I've been through quite a lot myself, and I understand the fear, the blockages, and the pain that all these experiences can cause. And I also just want to validate that we don't need to go through these huge traumatic experiences to feel depressed or be anxious. There are many experiences in life that unfortunately, as fast as we can, or our parents, teachers do, we are conditioned in certain ways, and it causes us these inhibiting fears. But the good news is we can heal them, and I have helped many along my journey to heal their inhibiting fears and emotional pain. And so I congratulate you for taking this first step to learn about a little bit about what shadow work or meditation healing or spiritual healing is all about. So without further ado, let's dive in. So during this course, you will have this workbook called How to Break Out of Repeating Patterns workbook. And also before using the workbook, I've made a lot of videos on shadow work in relation to soul purpose and the law of attraction and how to manifest your reality by healing yourself with shadow work on top of light work such as Reiki and yoga, the more lighter techniques. But we need to work on both sides of the coin in order to have a complete circle for us to utilize and manifest our reality. So this workbook will give you a very introductory and basic glimpse on how you can begin by healing yourself using these techniques. This workbook is a mixture of meditation, metaphysical information, mindfulness, and also shadow work as well. I will also, underneath the workbook, have a guided meditation, a guided soul retrieval meditation, which is also a very integral part of spiritual healing or shadow work healing. There are a lot of videos that I've made about shadow work, so please feel free to take a couple of minutes or take your time. There's really no rush. Be very patient and gentle and open-minded. Click on some of my videos. You can find them on my Facebook page, My Inner Temple, or under my About page, or on my YouTube channel as well. So to share with you the first page of this workbook, spiritual perspective on shadow work. When I decided to live life with my fullest potentials, I no longer hold on to the idea that I'm here to cope with life. Because who wants to cope with life? We're here to live. If you know, even if you believe in reincarnation or not, you'll have this one chance at this one life. So live it to the fullest. And I really don't believe that we're born here to cope and to suffer. I think that at the point of this timeline, I do believe in reincarnation and the vastness of our consciousness. You've been on Earth for so many lifetimes. You've learned enough lessons, and you have learned so much karmic lessons. And I think this is a time where Earth is awakening, and that we're starting to remember who we are, the divinity within us, the healer within us, the empowering being that is within us. So I really encourage you to allow yourself to be open that you're not here to get punished. Oh, maybe a couple of lives ago as a murderer and then getting punished in this lifetime. I don't really resonate with the idea anymore. I think the experience that we are having right now is more to just trigger us to remember how powerful we are. Diving into the shadows, it was the first time in my life that I experienced my internal resistance to unconditional love and presence. Being submerged into the waters of my subconscious, curiously, there was a sense of comfort, connection, and clarity. So the word shadow work can sometimes inflict some fears within us. And a lot of people, just by hearing the word, is like, well, I don't want to go into the darkness. That's what I'm trying to run away from. And that's exactly why we need to do shadow work, because what we resist persists. If we don't deal with our shadows in a gentle and conscious way, it's going to keep following us and haunt us. And when we're born onto this earth, we are a pure and light being. So during our experience, we picked up some shadows, some programming or negative core beliefs about ourselves. So in the end, shadow work is really just light work. We are remembering the light within us. The most profound moments are when I emerge out of the water and take my first breath. Every experience is a rebirth, the most exhilarating breath I've ever taken. I am no longer afraid to dive into the uncharted territories of my subconscious. It is finding the pearls of healing, the restorative breath that makes me come alive. I now anchor the light of my divinity with courage and compassion. I choose to master the duality of light and shadows, embrace my being with totality. And so it is. And so, I think that our self-realization or self-actualization journey goes up and down. Sometimes when we are feeling depressed in the bottom, we need the light work to bring us up. But when a certain point, when we're feeling better, we also need to, again, with consciousness, with gentleness, mindfulness, go back into the shadow and understand there was nothing wrong with you. It was what happened to you. So it's going back into moments to find that out. What are these memories that are causing me these blockages? Just like cleaning out your garden, if you want your garden to flourish and bloom into a beautiful garden, we need to clean up the weeds. And we just by chopping off the weed is not going to get rid of them. We need to remove them with the root as the whole thing so that it's no longer going to come back again. So it goes in this oscillating cycle, and that's part of what I think self-actualization is not always about like this, phew, just go straight up and never think about the shadows and just be happy and just bypass all the things that you don't want to feel or don't want to connect to. I really invite you to think of it like this. It's more like an up and down. And when you are expanding your consciousness, when you dip down into those low points again, just remember yourself that your spiritual growth is like a spiral. It's not like a ladder. So sometimes you think, oh yeah, I'm doing better. Oh, I'm having a bad day. I'm slipping again. But so people will start to feel bad about it. Like, oh, all the work that I've done is now going downhill or in the trash. It's like it never exists. And I myself have felt like that before until I realized that when we expand, we're like a spiral. So even though if you feel like you're going downhill a little bit, you've already expanded from where you are a couple months or a couple years ago. You're always going to be expanding. That is part of the main purpose of the universe. Why we're here. We're here to grow, to expand, and to learn what love is. So going to the second page right here, yours is gonna be, if you have a color printer, gonna be nice and beautiful, but I use the black and white printer. Congratulations on taking the first step to build your own inner temple. I'm truly ecstatic and thrilled that you're here with me to jumpstart your alignment journey. It is time to eliminate emotional pain by taking your power back from the past, overcome fear by reclaiming your confidence and authenticity, no longer letting worries about the future inhibiting you from living life to the fullest. It is my purest intention for you to align with your soul purpose by harmonizing the light and shadow aspects of yourself. We all have the inherent ability to heal ourselves. Trust yourself and radiate your brilliance with love and compassion. To break out of these repeating patterns, there are three main principles. Number one is your intent. You want to get clear on what you want in life. Your brain waves or your consciousness is almost like a radio tower. And the universe, because you are part of the universe is always listening. Whatever your thought is, how you speak about yourself, the universe reflects to you your inner world. So the number one step is to get clear on what what is your desire. So if your desire is to stop, having low self-esteem and poor boundaries and getting into abusive relationships like I was, then you got to make that declaration really clear to yourself and the universe that you are no longer wanting to be in these situations anymore. You want to be a conscious creator of your reality and manifest your soulmate or your twin flame. You're ready for the next stage of your expansion. So you have to broadcast that desire out and declare it. Number two is apply. So with this workbook, you can use it, stick with it, be consistent to practice. A lot of times we think that, shamanic healing or spiritual healing is a quick fix. It is not quite like that. It's just like we can't go to the gym for one day or 1 month and expect to have an amazing body and abs, and just like we can't expect to go to one yoga class and be really good at certain poses or controlling your breath. It does take time, consistency, and a burning desire to get better. Number three is receive. So allowing yourself to receive once you've broadcasted your intention to the universe, following through with actions. That means consistent practice, continuing your self-growth, continuing your commitment to this journey. Then it's allowing yourself to receive. So if you have any blockages, something like I'm not good enough or I'll never have this, never have that. I used to have that mentality as well, that I'll never win that, or I've never won anything in any contest. Then very naturally, I would never win anything in any contest. But as soon as I started to switch my mindset around, I noticed that I'm winning more in contests or raffles or getting picked more to get, my story shared with the group. So it's all about our mindset and our vibration, what we emitting to the universe. And so to your freedom and success. So jumping into step one. So number one is we have to identify the patterns. So in one of my videos titled Shadow Work and the Law of Attraction, I talk about how when I came across Abraham Hicks' teaching, when she talks about the law of attraction, or the book Secret talks about law of attraction, that is only one side of the story. So we ourselves are more like a dipole magnet. We can't just sit here and be like, I have $1 million, I have $1 million, and just sit here and do nothing and expect that someone just write us a check for $1 million. It doesn't quite always work that way. So on one hand, you're using positive affirmation, your declaration to the universe to attract what you want. So in the beginning of my journey, I'm always writing affirmation, visualizing, meditation, and I still do to this present day. You have to keep drawing the positive imageries, positive energies in yourself. But on the other end of the magnet, our shadow side is, what are you inhibiting yourself in order to achieve this goal? So I'll give you an example. At a point in my life, I knew that I was done with not valuing myself and just settling with men that don't really value or really want to be with me. I was just there to desperately holding on so that I can feel love, because I didn't love myself. I didn't have boundaries. I didn't have self-esteem or confidence. I needed someone else to be there, almost like a pillar that I can hold on to so that I can feel safe and secure. I was not safe and secure in my own being. So then to the universe, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for a conscious relationship. I'm ready to meet my soulmate or my future husband. That's what I want. But yet, when I would go on dates, it still wouldn't work out the way that I wanted. And just by learning the law of attraction, I'm like, well, is it not working? Or, it seems to be working for everyone else. And so using shadow work, I noticed that, oh wow, when I started diving deep, I noticed that there were blockages such as I'm scared. I have a lot of fear about really connecting with a guy because of the trauma from the past and trauma with my biological father. There were still parts of me that don't trust men, and parts of me that didn't feel safe around men. So you see how as the magnet said, yes, this is what you want, but on the shadow side, you're stopping yourself. So we're doing this like stagnant movement, and the universe is confused as well. So what does she really want? We can't give what, because we're blocking ourselves in receiving. So number one with this worksheet is writing down what you want to attract, the patterns that you're attracting, and identifying what kind of things you're doing repeatedly that is repelling the things that you want. So for example, in the beginning, I would write down something like, I want a very successful business, I want a heart-centered business, I want to serve humanity as an energy healer. These are the things I want to attract. Then I would take a moment, look at the list, and ask myself, well, what is it that is in my mind that is inhibiting this positive thing from manifesting? And using some other shadow work techniques, I found out that there was still a lot of shame of not wanting to be seen by the public, being judged by the public, and there was a lot of shyness or the fear of losing control of my life, because now that I'm opening up myself, which means that you become more in the public eye, and given as someone who was suffering from so much trauma, it can be a very difficult thing to do. So then that gave me an insight of, this is my dream, my vision that I want to accomplish, but these are my blocks. Know what your blocks are so that you can target them, release them, and remove them, then reprogramming your mind to serve yourself in order to attract your dream vision. So you can pause this video and just take a couple of minutes to really self-reflect and go on this self-journey. Be really honest with yourself, the radical honesty, and really write down what is it that you want to attract in your life and how you're repelling that away from it to manifest. Step 2 is mindfulness connection. So the blockages that you wrote down in the repelling column is going to cause a certain discomfort in your body. So for my example, the shame feeling that I was feeling, I would feel it in my lower pelvic area, which is the sacral chakra connected to sexuality. Right? So when you're talking about relationship, a lot of times we feel it in the sacral chakra or the heart chakra. You feel a tightness in there. And that is what we're going to use as a golden thread to dive into the subconscious in order to do shadow work. What you resist persists. Sometimes we find ourselves resisting our repeating patterns and associating negative feelings along them. To begin with, I warmly invite you to open up to the fact that having a negative pattern does not mean that there's something wrong with you. When unwanted results manifest into your reality, it is simply a signal for us to look inwards and heal the fractured aspects of ourselves for restoration and integration. For example, are we aiming to lose weight because subconsciously we want others' approval so we can feel more confident in ourselves? Perhaps subconsciously we're giving our power to external forces without even realizing it. What happened in our past made us behave a certain way. The answers often lie within our subconscious mind. So from the last section, pick out a specific pattern that you want to work on and continue with this exercise below. And you can repeat the same step for the other patterns as well, but don't overwhelm yourself and just pick one pattern to work with at a time. You can go into a meditation to find your answers, quieting the conscious or the ego mind, and allow the soul to speak through you. So number 1, what pattern did you choose? What is the feeling that arises when you think about this pattern? And try to start your sentences with I feel. When you start a sentence with I feel, it helps us bypass the conscious mind, because the conscious mind like to explain with logical explanation, analyze, and it needs reasoning. But shadow work and healing is more on the emotional level, it's on the more subtle level. And so using I feel, you connecting with the yin aspect of yourself, the emotion, the gentle part of yourself. And this is a mindfulness practice. So if you're someone that has been practicing with mindfulness, this will be a lot more easier for you to pick up. If you've not, don't worry. Just be patient and take it step by step. And so what we want to do is to pick out that feeling. So for me, let's say the shame that I feel in my pelvic area, and to close your eyes to start connecting with that feeling. I feel tightness in my pelvic area. I notice that my pelvic floor is very tight from stress. I notice that there seems to be pain in this area. I feel as though there's a black void in this area. Inviting those feelings to surface, breathing in slowly to the count of 4. And exhaling to 8. Inhale to 4 again. Exhale to 8. And in your mind, repeating the mantra either out loud or silently, I'm completely open to feeling this. Breathe in and long exhale. I'm completely here with you now. Inhale. Exhale. Observe your body. When you connect with the feeling of shame, observe and open your heart. Expand your awareness. Feel where this feeling of shame is causing discomforts or sensations in your body. Observe it without judgment. Using the breath to open your heart, release any resistance. Use the mantra, I'm open to completely feel. I am open to feeling this. Continuing with the inhale to 4 and exhale to 8 breath. And now as you're breathing in, sometimes it's very normal for the sensation to now move around the body. So you might be starting to feel the discomfort in the sacral area, but you'll notice that it will maybe move to your shoulders. And so again, using the breath, bring in your expanded awareness, observe the feelings, the sensations around the area. Now we can use, along with our mind power, the mantras, the breath power through the elongated breath. And now using the body power as well, gently using your fingertips to tap on those areas of discomfort. Gentle taps on the area, inhaling to 4. Fill up that lower belly and exhale, slow and gentle. Inhaling to 4. Exhaling as long as you can. Inhale to 4 again. This time hold the breath. Open up your chest. And exhale. Whew. You can relax your hands. Keeping the eyes closed at this point, you can ask yourself how you're feeling. Perhaps at the start of the practice, the feeling was an 8. But now it has gone down to a 5 or even a 1. If you are still higher than 5, repeat the cycle. Again, using the inhale to 4. With mind power, I'm completely here to feel this now. And start tapping the area, exhaling to 8. In the beginning of this practice, sometimes you might find that your mind is still wandering, you're still thinking about what you need to do 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later. The trick is to give your mind the task. When I start to think about, oh, well, I need to make dinner in an hour from now, is to say, oh, yes, we do. But right now, let's focus on my fingertips. Or right now, let's focus on our breath. Give the mind a task to do. And continue your tapping, your breath, your mantras. And you find that as you do this practice, after each cycle, you feel that the number will go lower and lower, eventually to a 0. And continuing, you can pause this video, just read over number 2 again to review the practice that I've just shared with you. Now that our body is more relaxed, we can move on to step 3, which is changing the mindset. So now that we work with the body, now we are going to work with the mind. There's a wise owl within each of us. With wisdom, we can see the value of applying both logical reasoning and emotional intelligence to challenging situations. We can bring both the left and right brains together and walk the middle path. Like I mentioned in the foreword, we are the master of duality to understand both ends of the spectrum and harmonize these energies to serve our highest good and the planet's highest good. So one of the other tip that I have was noticing the words that you're saying to yourself by beginning to journal. So intuitive journaling, that means setting aside 15 minutes, sit down, connect with your breath, using a short meditation. I don't care if you're doing it for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or you have more time to do it, but please just do it. You gotta just commit and just say yes to yourself that you want to change your life and you know that there's something more to you, and you just gotta sit down there, you gotta bring in that journal, that pen, you just gotta do it. And start writing your thoughts down, and then you start to realize that, wow, some of these thoughts are not very helpful. And what I would do is going back to it, circle whenever I would use words such as buts. I'm like, yeah, I have a job now, but I'm not making that much money. Or, yeah, I'm doing this now, but da, 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 da. And changing that word to and. So I can say something like, yes, I have a job and I don't feel like I'm making enough money. And there's something that I can do to change it. So changing the but, because the word but sometimes can automatically just put us in the vibration of powerlessness. So really paying attention to that. And the other word that I would notice in my journal is the word should. It's like, I should be doing this, I should be married, I should be making this much money, and so many shoulds, and the should is not helping us in any way. And so I would just change it to, I should be making this much money, to I am making money right now and I'm very blessed and grateful, and I will be continuing to attract and make more money. So changing the words, changing the programming in your mind. So number 1, what are your automatic thoughts when you think about this pattern? So the pattern that you just worked with my example, is the shame. What is your automatic thought? So my automatic thought when I feel about the shame is, I'm not good enough, I'm gonna be alone, no one's gonna want me, I'm gonna be single forever, all my friends are gonna be married except me, I'm gonna be alone forever. And so that's one of my automatic pattern now, and I would write that down. So get as much of those patterns out as possible. There's a little space here, but you can always add a piece of paper and continue writing. And after I've let out all that I want to let out, then I look at this. Number 2, what type of inhibiting thinking is this? Black and white. So black and white can either be, like given myself as a Virgo with very perfectionism, everything needs to be perfect. So sometimes I would say to myself that, oh, if I'm not making 50 grand a year, then I'm unsuccessful. So it's very black and white. If I'm not making this, then it's saying that I'm not a good person, I'm not good enough, I won't achieve anything. I don't give myself any leeway in the middle. So noticing that, the black and white pattern. Number 2, dismissing the positives. So what are some of the positives? Well, I finally got hired after years of being depressed into a full-time position. That is a positive. That is a great achievement. But given our mind, the ego mind likes to think about the worst case scenario and the bad things. And so I was just noticing, yeah, I have a job, but I'm still not making as much money as my friend, or yada yada yada. But just taking the moment to be like, wow, this actually, for me to even get this job, it's an amazing achievement. C, negative self-labeling. So labeling myself as I'm always going to be single, I'm not good enough. Those are the negative self-label that you are telling yourself, and you're being, all the cells in your body is vibrating at that vibration that I'm not good enough. And with the vibration that you're vibrating, people can pick that up. We are very intuitive. When we're born, sometimes when you walk by some people, you're like, oh, I don't really like their vibe, or oh, they don't seem so okay. We pick that up from people's energy. D, catastrophic thinking. So thinking that I'll always be single, I'll never be married. That's very catastrophic thinking. E, need for external approval. So I ask myself, so what does it mean to be single to me? What's the worst that can happen? And then I started to think that because I want external approval, if I'm not in a relationship, other people is going to think that there's something wrong with me. And then I noticed that, wow, that means I'm not even accepting myself. I'm not even loving myself. So how can other people follow my lead, follow my being? So that would give me a lot of clarity into my situations. And F, assumption. So sometimes we assume that our partner will understand our thoughts, assume that our partner will just meet our needs. And I'm very guilty of that still. I'm like, well, he's my boyfriend, he should know what I want. But they're not mind readers, they're not psychics, sometimes they just can't. And we assume that they can just read our needs, but we need to ask for it. Just like in part one, when we want a desire, we need to tell, we need to ask and express. Number G, I briefly talk about the should statements. Number H, procrastination. Yes, I want to start the side business. I want to bring in more income to bring my kid to piano lessons. But today I'm really tired, so I'm just going to wait till next week. And then next week you wait until next week. So notice how you are blocking yourself from your own dreams and visions. I, ruminating in the past. That is a pattern that we have to break out of. I used to ruminate so much in the past. So someone would break up with me, and for the whole week, that's all I would think about. It's like, oh my God, they broke up with me. What did I do wrong? Let me think back 3 months ago. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. And my dad just tell me, stop beating on this dead horse. And it's true. In the moment, it's very hard. And I would say that, yes, it is very important to validate your feelings and your thought at that time, but also at the same time, having the self-discipline to notice that you're ruminating in the past. J is pessimism. I'm always going to be alone, and when will ever want me? K, perfectionism. It's like, oh, everything needs to be perfect. If it's not like this, then it's unacceptable. So noticing these kind of thought patterns. Number 3, what would your wise hour say about this? What if someone you care about is feeling this way? What would you say to them? So every one of us have this innate wisdom within us. So someone else, let's say your friend or your daughter or your mom, someone that you really care about is feeling this way, what would you say to them? If your best friend is coming to you and saying this stuff like, I'm not good enough, I'll never find a relationship, start writing down what you would say to them. Sometimes so easy to help other people. We're very good advice giver, but to ourselves, we don't even take the time to give ourselves that advice and attention that we deserve for ourselves. Number 4, what skill can you use? What would someone who loves themselves do? So even if you're struggling with self-love or self-esteem, really ask yourself the question, what would someone that loves themselves do? And then just see what comes up. Your innate wisdom will flow out and let you know. So some suggestion is committing yourself to a yoga membership, going to yoga, make yourself feel better, heal your body, heal your mind, using the breath and the body to connect with yourself, heal yourself. Take on a Reiki healing session. I've seen tremendous changes through Reiki healing. Go to the spa, and after my last breakup, I bought myself this massage and pedicure manicure package at a spa to really treat myself, and it felt amazing because I've never done something like that before. So trying something different. Spend time in nature. This is very important. We are very connected to Mother Nature, and the color green and all these plants are very healing. My treatment office is all full of plants. I have over, I think, 100 plants in the house. It can get a little addictive. So, but you can really feel the difference, the vibration of the room with all the plants around. Go traveling. So I signed myself up on a Costa Rican retreat just by myself, and just go and reset, like self-reflect, spend some time on yourself. It's not always about the boyfriend. That's what I realized. I'm like, why don't I just marry myself? I bought myself literally a ring to remind myself that I'm now married to you. I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna treat you right. I'm gonna take you out on dates. And that really helped me tremendously. Number B, watch motivational videos on YouTube. Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Eckhart Tolle, Abraham Hicks. Watch, educate yourself, expand your consciousness, understand yourself, go on the self-exploration journey. There's just more than what the media is letting us know. Oh, yeah, just buy these clothes, buy this car. Yes, those are great. It's great to have these abundance, but what about the inside? Work on that. Express yourself with creative activities. So when I first started, I started watching Bob Ross video and started painting. And I remember my first painting was like black. There was like a rose that's drying up and dying. But I continue, and then the next painting was a dark night, but then I put a moon in there, so something is starting to glow. I'm like, okay, well, very interesting. By the third painting, it was already something like that. What's right behind me? Oh, this way. There's a little bit more light in the forest. And then to the lion, that is all pure color and strength that represent the strength within me. And to this painting that is full of bright colors. So you see that as you create yourself, express those feelings. Depression a lot of times is about suppression of expression. So allow yourself to flow and create. And everyone has creativity within them. You have a soul, and we all have a sacral chakra. We all have the ability to express and create. Number D is contact a trusted person. So in the beginning of my journey, I went to a trusted social worker. Again, with therapists and social workers, I find that it would take you, sometimes if you're lucky, the first one you connect with, but it took me quite a few tries before I found the social worker that I really like to work with, before I found the therapist that I really like to work with. So I encourage you to keep trying. You find someone that resonates with you, whether a friend, a family member, a coach, a healer. Sometimes I find that it's great to express yourself to friends and family, but they're not trained professionally to deal with some of these blockages or emotional blockages. They can offer an ear to listen, but if you're really ready to change your life, if you want to do something to improve your life, you know that there's more to you, reach out to professionals, reach out to healers, coaches, therapists. Number E is problem solve, asking yourself, what can I change about it? So the famous Buddhist monk, the Thich Nhat Hanh, he says that when you're in a situation that is causing you discomfort, you really have three things that you can do. You can accept it, you can leave the situation, or you can change the situation. So for example, let's say if you're in a job that you don't like, you can either accept it, through mastering your reaction through mindfulness practice or expanding your awareness. You can change your job, or you can leave the job and do something completely different. And that applies to relationships and everything as well. Number 5, what is the outcome of using the skills for this situation? So this you might have to come back to. If you want more of a, not say quick fix, but a immediate relief, what I would a lot of times do is create a painting that takes maybe an hour, go to a yoga class, and again that's an hour, a Reiki session that's an hour. So pick something that's an hour, and then after the hour come back and write down what you feel. And just as I've spent I shared with you earlier, it makes me feel so much better. There's a relief, there's a flow of energy. It's not stagnant, it's not resisting. I'm flowing. I'm letting things out. I'm letting positive energy in. It feels amazing. Write down these feelings. Another important last step is, instead of this old repeating pattern, what do you want instead? And this is where I'm inviting you to be really honest with yourself. I was like, so instead of repeatedly getting myself in these abusive relationships where I just had no boundaries, I want to create a healthy boundary. And that's what I wrote down. I want to create a healthy boundary. How does it feel to live in this new decision? So after I've decided that, okay, I need to work on myself, because clearly I need to work on my self-esteem and knowing my likes and dislikes. And so I went on to take all these courses. I went on a lot of therapy group, went on retreats. I saw my healer monthly for over a year. I did a lot of things to help myself. I actively went out there and invest in myself so that I can be where I am now. And so when I thought about my higher self, the version of myself that already exists in another timeline, all I need to do is align myself to that version of myself. It feels amazing. It feels fulfilling. It feels like I'm expanding. It feels fulfilling. It feels abundance. I've written down all of these feelings, and I will go into visualize meditation and just allow myself to soak into this vibration. So how would I feel when I'm having the dream career? How would I feel when I'm transforming my own life and inspiring others to do the same? How would I feel if I'm teaching Reiki and facilitating others' self-discovery journey? How would I feel? And all these amazing feelings is permeating in every single cell of my body, all the spaces around my body, the auric field of my body. And I would inhale that vibration and exhale to let it integrate into my body. Inhaling that love and compassion, and exhale, feel it running through all of my body parts. And I would do that for as long as I can. And so by the end of that, I would already want to get up and do something. I'll be like, okay, let's do this. Let's do that workshop or do that video that I always wanted to do. Sign up for that course that I wanted to sign up, and go for that therapy session that I was so scared to go to. Really boost yourself up to own who you are. Embody your authentic self. We all have an authentic self. We're here to empower each other. Empower yourself. So the very good thing to do with this exercise is also right when you wake up and before you go to bed. Read what you wrote in the last sections out loud and visualize yourself already having what you desire. Visualize that you have already broken out of the repeating patterns with success. And when you make the decision and follow through with a burning desire, the universe will conspire to help you achieve your goals. So our potential is always bigger than our problems, and you need to be the person to jump on that train and captain your way to success. No one else can do it for you, not even your coach, your healer, and therapist. They are here to hold space and facilitate the healing, but you have to be the driver of your train. They can boost you with the coal, like putting fire in you, and if there are like vines strangling your train, they can help remove it so you can go faster, but ultimately you're the one driving the train. So this is the part of the course where we went through the workbook. You feel free to message me if you have any questions. Please feel free to come check out my introduction to Shadow Workshop, or if you don't live in Toronto, you can always book for the online program, the level 2 program called Soul Alchemy. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that today's lesson has given you a lot of insights and a lot of new techniques to try out on yourself. Thank you very much. Namaste.